What's up, guys? Episode 5 of Moon Knight just dropped, and that was the best episode of a Disney Plus show I've ever seen, and heavily contends with the likes of the Netflix shows, okay? Yes, even Daredevil, okay? Not saying it's necessarily better than Daredevil as a show, but it just earned major credit for being such a deeply emotional, tension-filled, and honestly therapeutic episode. Sometimes you need to push through the pain to get to a better place, and I am so glad Mark Spector is in a better place right now, technically. But moment of silence for my boy Steven, okay? A real ass player who deserved the world, but was going up against a villain who knew too much. We unfortunately didn't see any of Bay this week, but distance makes the heart grow fonder, guys. Instead, we did get to see that fateful night finally, and actually did end up seeing Jake Lockley somewhat, just not in the way we thought, okay? And you might have missed it, honestly, but we'll go into that in a bit. We'll get into the likes, cause legit, guys, I don't think I disliked a thing about this episode. We'll talk about the things I picked up on and make some predictions for the finale, of course. But before we do any of that, make sure to support your boy by hitting that sub button, leaving a thumbs up, follow my social medias, like, retweet, all that good stuff. Y'all, I'm gonna need to make up another personality just to deal with the trauma of this episode. Time to shit blood. Let's get into it, players. So we actually start off this episode with some deep glimpses into Mark's past, and then him waking up and realizing he needs to address some trauma. And this set up the whole goal of the episode and everything that will occur to move forward in this story on multiple different viable levels, okay? And actually, this is the part where we see Jake Lockley, okay? This is Jake Lockley. This was not Steven. This was not Mark. This was Jake Lockley right here. He was going crazy. Maybe like him going crazy was actually him in that tomb. Who knows? But for facts, that is Jake Lockley, and we will probably see him in the next episode go off, absolutely. So in the psych ward, Mark is meant to address his trauma so that he may overcome them, but in the Juot, he and Steven must look through their memories to balance their scales so they might pass to see the field of reeds, or if they don't, they get trapped in the sands for all of time in the underworld. So Mark has no choice but to address his traumas no matter the perspective, and this whole episode really draws on the beauty of ambiguity and perspective that the Jeff Lemire run dealt with so beautifully. And it was kind of teased in the last episode with Harrow when he says that, you know, I look at this pen and it's a writing utensil, but if a dog looks at it, it's a chew toy. We're both right though. And so that's what I really loved about the Jeff Lemire run, is that everything is viable. It's just all about perspective. So whether he has to deal with his trauma through therapy or in the duat, you know, looking through memories and dealing with stuff through that way, it's still the same thing and it's accomplishing the same thing. So both can kind of be real, which I really love. And I also love how Taweret mentioned the ancestral plane. You know, we got a little Wakanda reference right there, but also I just love the idea that everybody, depending on their perspective, goes to a different place when they die, or a different afterlife. I think that's like really cool, and I feel like if more people kind of felt that way, things would be better in the world. And we see Mark having to show Steven all the people he killed, and we realize he does have remorse for them. And then we see this little boy pop up and Mark start to guard like crazy, okay? While Steven pursues this memory and finds out that's actually Randall Spector, okay? Mark's little brother, and his little brother, we find out, dies playing in a cave that was Mark's idea to play in, and from then on his mother started hating him. And so that is when he creates the Steven Grant persona to cope with all the trauma of his brother dying and the guilt from that, and of his mother hating him for all of his life, beating him. I mean, when you see your mom or anybody really walk to a table like this, you know you're about to get hit, okay? Some bullshit is about to happen. And they pull this panel right from the comics of Mark Spector talking to Steven Grant in his bedroom. I really love that. It was also so deeply emotional just seeing this little dude having to deal with his mother hating him, okay? You can't not feel for him and not understand why he is the way he is when he grows up, okay? It's even better than in the comics, because he just kind of had dissociative identity disorder in the comics, but to create an extremely viable and compelling reason behind it is such an elevation of the source material, okay? You cannot help but feel for Mark Spector, not wanting to address his guilt and having Steven help Mark and creating an alternate persona just to deal with that, just so this alternate persona can exist in a world where his mother loved him, he didn't get beat, he had this good relationship with his mother, he didn't experience the same things that Mark did. That is so insane, okay? You know, trauma's real. You gotta deal with it. You gotta address your problems. You really do. Once you do, you get to a better place. And I think it's just so beautiful. And this falls into the kind of thing that I really enjoy, which is, you know, a little bit of self-love, being your own best friend. I really love that. And Steven is, in a sense, Mark. They're both one in the same, truly. And And for Steven to tell Mark it wasn't his fault, he was a kid, that was beautiful. And Mark getting some kind of, resolution, getting some type of relief from his pain, that was absolute beauty, okay? And that's just more indicative of what a beautiful soul Steven is. I mean, this was such a great episode for Steven. It's all just so beautiful. Dealing with trauma and learning to let go, that makes you beautiful. Seeing Steven dealing with and accepting his mother actually being dead also was a very touching moment, pushing through the pain and fright to overcome this trauma and accepting that his mother was dead, and also that he was kind of a creation. That took a lot. And he even saves Mark at the end, which I absolutely love. Again, you are your own best friend. You do the best. You're your own hero. You're your own angel, which I really, really love. And I love what Steven said. If it's in you, then it's in me. And he starts whooping ass. And him getting thrown overboard was, although sad as fuck, and if you didn't feel a way about that, I question your soul, honestly, okay? It was symbolic of Mark letting go of his coping mechanisms that prevented him from getting to a better place. And that's how he ends up in the field of reeds at the very end of the episode. His soul is balanced, which is beautiful, but again, sad as fuck. Moment of silence, rest in peace, press F in the chat for my boy. And this episode, just as a whole, is absolutely beautiful on so many levels. I can't even really muster up too much deviancy in this video, guys. I'm sorry if that was what you were here for, but my heart is filled with pure ethereal light, okay? Some of the other things, though, that I noticed were that Layla's father, during that fateful night memory, had on a Scarlet Scarab scarf. And for those of you who don't know who that is, that was actually a very short-lived character from the comics. The same exact name. He was actually this super powerful individual who was enhanced by this thing called the Ruby Scarab, and he was kind of like the protector of Egypt, and he took on the invaders. Like, they couldn't touch him, like, for shit. So I'm thinking, since all that emphasis was put on it, I'm guessing they'll expand on it sometime in the future of the MCU, because I don't know if we'll even have enough time to explain it by the next episode, because it's like the shortest episode of the season. I think it's like 43 minutes. So in my opinion, it's very ballsy of Marvel, but I'm still hype and I'm still trusting them. Shout out to those great young actors. They both did such an incredible job. Shout out to Oscar Isaac. We are so blessed to be having an actor of that caliber in the MCU. He's playing two different characters. He's flipping characters on a dime, giving us such deep and emotional moments. Like, it was just insane. Like, him as Mark trying to deal with his mother's death, even after all she put him through, he still felt something. And I think that's very indicative of how complex feelings are. It's not just some robotic thing of like, this person did something bad to me, or this person doesn't agree with me or anything. People are complex. It's not as simple as this is this and this is that. And I think some crazy shit is about to happen. Mark is about to go back to his body. Khonshu is about to be released with the help of Taweret, I believe. And it's going to get hella crazy in this next episode. I'm expecting Jake Lockley to come through in that black and white armor. I'm expecting that stairs battle from like the 2014 run. And then we got Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness next week. Come on, okay? We're just blessed right now. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much my thoughts on the episode. Let me know what you guys thought of the episode, whether you liked it or not. If I missed anything or got anything wrong, please let me know as well. Also, guys, let me know if you're watching Doctor Strange next week. That's it. If you liked the video, leave me a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you want, subscribe. I always appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope all of you guys are well, and I'll see you in the next one.